Now, what is your opinion on ad-libs in a song?
I feel like ad-libs, they really bring out the song, you know what I'm saying? Like, they hype the song up, or they tell something else in the background, you know what I'm saying, that the lyrics ain't speaking on. So one of the, yeah, that makes a lot of songs, because actually, I didn't listen to a lot of artists, and I like they ad-libs more than I like their lyrics.
Any in particular that come to mind to you?
Let me see. I got a Jeezy did a real good job with ad lib. You know what I'm saying? I mean, who else? Pastor Troy when he did his thing. Um, it's a couple ad lib kings out there, man. I like Gucci ad libs too. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah, those three there, they kind of like made the whole South ad libs pop out. And the Migos, yeah, the Migos did their thing too. So they famous for their ad lib.
Now, what about your ad-libs in particular? Do you have a strategy at all when it comes to yours?
Ad-lib is sort of like a trademark for me. So when I go into a record, I always want to, stamp my ad-libs on it and let the people know, this Goldmouf coming. You know what I'm saying? This Goldmouf ad-libs. It kind of it gives you your own unique personal experience and let the fans know, yeah, this got to be him because he said such and such, such and such. You know what I'm saying? Dolph too. Like Dolph used to come in. It's Dolph. You know, it's another ad-lib Dolph had that was real famous. I can't really think of it right now, but ad-libs are very important because it stamps that rapper. It identifies that particular artist.
Now, when it comes to your ad-libs and this trademark that you just described, some call that a signature
Yeah,
ad-lib. What is yours?
yeah. A goal, you know, like when I begin a track or I end a track, I always want to say go, you know what I'm saying, just to let the people know I'm coming. Nigga, I just did that. You feel me?
Now, for those in the audience, getting to know you for the very first time, when you say yeah, and then gold, is that something you do together, or are those two separate ad-libs that
Yeah,
you're
they two
mentioning?
separate ad libs.
Now, obviously, gold is in reference to your stage name, but what about yeah? Is there a meaning behind that when you implement that in your music?
You know, I feel like, coming from Macon, you know what I'm saying, when we say niggas just be talking, people just be blowing smoke, just be talking. We be like, yeah. So, I just brought that lingo from my city and I put it inside of my raps, you know what I'm saying? So it let them know that this is gold mouth from Macon, you know. So it's all a signature. It's a whole trademark. It's where I'm representing where I'm from, and I'm representing who I am on this particular song. If that makes sense.
And when you implemented that ad lib, the yeah, as you described previously, excuse me, were you the first recording artist to do this ad lib?
In the way that I did it, yes. Yeah, yeah, I was.
Okay, now, when it comes to collaborating with other recording artists, have you added your ad libs to another artist's verse on the same song?
Um, yeah, I think yeah, cause actually, me and Jeezy did a song together. Although it haven't been put out yet. While he was doing his hook, I was in the background doing my ad lib. So yeah.
And is that the only time you recall you've done that, putting your ad libs on another artist's verse on the same song?
I think I did it with the Rez Deshaun too. Yeah.
And is that a song that's also unreleased?
Nah, that one out. It's called All I Could. Yeah, I did that.
Now, in either of these instances, when you do add your ad libs to another artist's verse on the same song, is that you voluntarily doing that, or does the other artist ask you to do that?
Now it really depends on how the is going. Like if you need a filler right there or something like that, you know what I'm saying, and you want to add a little bit more sauce to it, then yeah, I'll do that. But typically artists, when you're recording with an artist, they got their own ad libs on their own verse. You know what I'm saying? And they do it the right way. But sometimes under rare circumstances, you know, you might want to add a little bit more sauce to it, or you may feel like you need to add something to that space right there. So yeah, that's when I do that though.
Now, just for a little bit more context, this song with Derez Deshawn, is that your song featuring him or
it's
his
mine.
song featuring you?
Yeah, it's mine. And that's important too though, you know what I'm saying? When you saying adding your ad-libs to another artist's verse or a chorus, the song more than likely gotta be yours. Cause you know what I'm saying? The, niggas ain't just trying to let you add no ad-lib to they shit, you know what I'm saying?
And is this the same as the song with Jeezy, your song featuring Jeezy?
Yeah, it's my song featuring Jeezy, yeah.
And even though it's unreleased, is there a title to it, just in case it ever does, that those in the audience now can look forward to in the event that that does happen?
Yeah, it's called Getting It. Yeah, it's called Getting It.
Now, what are your thoughts on a song with a featured artist ad-libs, but no hook or verse from them on that song? Just their ad-libs.
I mean, it really depends on who it is. Cause you know, some artists they known by their ad-lib. And I think actually I think Kanye West did that before. He did that with a Jeezy record. He grabbed Jeezy ad-libs and put it on that, what that song was.
Can't Tell Me Nothing.
Can't Tell Me Nothing, yeah. Just can't get my money right. Yeah. So Jeezy was doing that, yeah. He was in jeans with that. Cause everybody thought Jeezy was finna actually come on, you know, when they heard his ad-lib, but he didn't, but it still gave it that feel, that vibe, you know, although he didn't put a verse on that particular song at that time. So yeah, it makes sense though.
Now, is that something you've ever been requested to do? Someone wanting just your ad-libs on a song, but no hook or verse from you?
Nah, not at this point.
Is that something you would be open to if you were requested for that?
Yeah, most certainly. Cause you still get credit for being on the record.
And what about vice versa? Is there any artist in particular you may want just their ad-libs, but no hook or verse from them?
Maybe, yeah, maybe it'll make sense. Shit, I won't raw away anything on mine. I don't give a fuck if he just go to yeah, you know, certain artists is most definitely.
And just for transparency, you mentioned Rod Wave here. Do you know him personally by any chance?
I never met him. I had some partners. I got some partners from Florida, from St. Pete. They actually know him, and I supposed to met him a couple of years ago, but it didn't happen for whatever reason. But I don't know him personally, but I like to get to meet him though.
And just in case he's watching or listening to this interview, anything you want to say to Rod Wave?
I need a feature, bruh. Push up. Let a real nigga get a feature.
Now, that's just several questions here about ad-libs. Anything else you want to mention about them, or question you weren't asked, people want to know just about the subject of ad-libs?
Ad-libs are instrumental. They have become a serious thing in music nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody don't use ad-libs though, because I hear some real clean rappers, they run all the way through it without ad-libs, but for the most trap rappers and street rappers, yeah, we gonna use ad-lib because we telling the story up under another story. You know what I'm saying? So it's important that we use ad-lib.
And speaking of the phrase trap, that has something to do with the title of a single that you're currently promoting.
Yeah, Trap of the Year.
For those in the audience, getting to know you for the very first time, can you talk about that song and how that came about?
So I just dropped a single called Trap of the Year with Bigga Rankin. I got the OG Bigga Rankins on there and Trey Lawson. Basically, my partner Trey Lawson, he's a great songwriter. And, he came to me with an idea, you know, because he know my history, he know about my past. You know, before I made the transition from the streets to the music industry in the legitimate world, you know, I was a part of the trap life. I was doing the trap thing real heavy. So he was like, man, you know, out of all the work you put in when you was in the street, I think Trapper of the Year, you know, a song, we put together a song called Trapper of the Year. I think that'd be a perfect fit for you. So I'm like, yeah, let's put it together. So, you know, he laid down a couple bars, and, you know, he came with the hook. And then we put Bigga on it, you know what I'm saying? And everything else is history, man. This shit came out real good, and a lot of people, they really vibing with it. A lot of DJs picking it up, spinning it, you know what I'm saying? It's a real nice song. So Trapper of the Year basically entails the life that I used to live when I was in the streets, when I was trapping. And we added some more sauce to it. Bigga Rankin put the wisdom down. You know, every time he get on the song, he gonna put the wisdom down. You know what I'm saying? He gonna make sure, you know, he leaves some knowledge, drop some jewels for you to hear, for you to understand. You know what I'm saying? Like he was saying in the record, you know, we don't want to be in the newspaper or nothing like that. We want to be in the rafters. You know, this is how you get your rewards when you put in the work. So, you know, that's how it start. That's how it come on. So that's a real important thing, man. You know, that people understand that it ain't about crashing out. It ain't about ending up in no motherfucking newspaper, ending up in the casket. It's about longevity. You know, you ending up you going to the Hall of Fame, or you getting retirement, or whatever it is you trapping, however you trapping. Cause you know, it ain't just about the streets when it comes to trapping. You know, you could be trapping out of a Wendy's, you could be working at a Walmart, wherever you working at, whatever you doing to bring in income, to take care of your family, to fulfill your responsibility. That's what trapping is about, you know what I'm saying? So whatever you are doing, however you trapping, just trap to the best of your ability and be known for that, be recognized for that, you know what I'm saying? So that's what Trapper of the Year is basically about, encouraging people to trap whatever out, trap that bitch out. Whatever it is you're doing, trap it out to the best of your ability. You know what I'm saying? And be known for that shit, you know?
And whose idea was it to bring in Bigga Rankin onto this song?
Actually, man, I think it was my manager Los' idea. He was like, I think Bigga do good on this song. And when Bigga heard it, he was like, man, I can hear my voice all over that motherfucker. So I couldn't do nothing but go with the flow and let Bigga do his thing. And when Bigga added his sauce to it, overall, it made it a better record.
Prior to Bigga being on it, did it feel like something was missing on this song?
I don't think it felt like nothing was missing at that time. But once Bigga laid his part down, I realized then, shit, Bigga was missing off that motherfucker, you know?
And just for transparency, Los is off camera to the side of you during this interview.
Yeah. So.
Now, what's he really like? Bigga Rankin, not Los. Sorry for the confusion.
I mean, Bigga is really like what you hear on the record. He's an elder brother, an OG who been in the game for a long time, that been through a lot of experiences, that learned this game, you know, through trial and error. And so that's how he is in real life. When he come to you on some positive shit. He coming to you trying to give you some game on how to execute whatever it is you're doing better. So he's really like that in real life, you know what I'm saying? I got a whole lot of respect for Bigga. Throughout the years, we've built a real solid and genuine relationship, you know what I'm saying? He called me a lot of times before he, you know, go to what you call dialysis or whatever. You know, he going through health issues, but he called me and he'd be like, "Go, you been on my mind. I wanted to tell you this," and he'll just drop a jewel on me. And that shit get me through a lot of my days a lot of times.
Do you remember how you two met for the very first time?
I met Bigga at an event one time. And you know, we shook hands and we you know, we didn't exchange numbers at that event. But then my partner Los came and brought Bigga to my my single release party in Macon one day. And from there we just locked in and we clicked. And, you know, we know a lot of other mutual people in the industry, so we had a lot in common. And, you know, ever since we just been locked in.
And do you recall that single title of that release event at the time?
I think that release was when I released my song called Now or Never. Yeah, Now or Never, yeah.
Now, when it comes to Bigga, last question about him. What's the best advice you received from him, or the most important thing you learned being around him so far?
You know, Bigga told me it's all about content. He said it didn't happen if you ain't recorded it. And nowadays, content is what sells. So if you're gonna be in this industry, you gotta make sure that you provide the industry with more than enough content, so they can see what you're doing in your day-to-day walk of life, so they can see what you're doing when you're in the studio, so they can see how it is to be you. And that's how you connect with the fans. And he told me, no matter how hard this journey get, you're gonna go through a lot of ups and downs. He mentioned the word vicissitudes. I was like, what the fuck is vicissitude? He like, man, that's life ups and downs. So you're gonna go through a lot of ups and downs in this industry, but shit, you made for this shit. Don't give up. So nigga keep grinding, you know?
And pardon the brain fog here, but was this the first time you two actually collaborated, was on this song?
Yeah, this is the first time we collaborated on the song. But in actual life, you know what I'm saying, we hadn't been out to eat together, you know, kicking it and so on and so forth. Actually, I did his Trapping in the Basement platform that he got, so yeah.
And when it comes to his vocals for this, is this something that's done in person, or is this like sending a file through the internet, him opening it, laying his vocals, sending it back type of thing?
I mean, it can go both ways.
But in this particular instance, for this song,
case,
was this done in person or was this done digitally?
Nah, I think we sent the song to him. Yeah, we sent the song to him, and he sent it back.
And do you tell him what to say?
Nah. He just do his thing. Like, he do bigger. Bigga do bigger. You can't tell an OG what to say. Shit, he got more wisdom than all of us. So I want him to be natural with it. You know what I'm saying? That would make it so organic.
Now, on the subject of trappers here, if there was a Mount Rushmore of trappers, which 4 people would you pick and why?
They wouldn't be in the industry. But if they was in the industry, I know real trappers in real life. But if they was in the industry though, you know, even I say Ralo. Ralo definitely got to be on the list of trappers, man. Ralo definitely did his thing. Is known to the public how he did it. You know, he got caught. He served his time for doing it. So Ralo definitely is one of the ones that will be on that list.
Any others or just him for now?
In the industry?
However way you want to answer this question.
Shit, you know, shout out to Meech. They just freed Meech. You know, Meech did his thing. You know, I give a shout out to myself. I did my thing. And shout out to J-Bo. J-Bo did his thing, you know?
Now, obviously, you have a relationship with Ralo, but what about these other names you mentioned? Big Meech, J-Bo. Do you know them personally by any chance? Yeah,
most certainly. I chopped it up with J-Bo about a week or two ago. You know, we had a real meaningful conversation. You know what I'm saying? J-Bo then made the transition, of course, from that life to the industry life too. So he got artists that he pushing, and you know, we spoke on, you know, giving his artists some sauce, you know, helping him push his artists and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a respectable relationship.
Now, speaking of that transition, how easy or hard was that for you to do?
That shit was like one of the hardest things in the world for me, man. You know what I'm saying? To be in the streets, making money, making that type of money, and then you just have to, you know, at some point go cold turkey. So that means your phone's still ringing. You know, niggas still hitting you up like, hey, Gold, can you give me straight? I got such and such amount of money. So how the fuck you know, you call yourself, man, you know, one day you just say, you know what, I ain't selling dope no more. Although you may not sell dope no more, but all the people that you know, do business with, they still selling dope. So now you get a phone call like, hey, Gold, what's up, man? I need 2 of them things, man. I got 60 bands. And you know damn well you can make a phone call and get them 2 things and go sell them to him and probably make you a cool 10, 15,000 real fast. So that's like one of the hardest things in the world to do, to lead the game along, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like a crack addict is addicted to crack, the dealer is addicted to making deals and making the money. So you know what I'm saying? It's like, how the fuck I'm just gonna go cold turkey in one day and niggas blowing my line up? I know I can make another 100,000 before, you know what I'm saying, a month out. But I just gotta forfeit all this money or do away, sacrifice all this bread that I know I could be making to starting on a whole new journey that doesn't promise any money. You see what I'm saying? You know, crossing over to the music world, it's always a great possibility that you may not make $1 out of this shit. You can invest. This the only industry for real that you can truly invest $1 million and probably don't even make a motherfucking $10,000 back out that shit. It's kind of like dumping your money in a black hole because you have to find the real people in position, the real executives to get the wanted results. Because you got so many middlemen, so many niggas, so many wolves with sheep clothing on. Oh yeah, bro, I can get your motherfucking song on the #1 goddamn chart. I can get your song on the Billboard if you pay me 20,000 and we gotta pay him 15,000. And before you know it, these niggas ain't even who they say they are. They just got pictures with motherfucking, you know, Fireboys, for example. You know, they got pictures with a Jeezy or something. And they post it on their page and they be around, they be in these circles, but really these niggas be scam artists. You feel me? Scamming niggas out their money. So you never, you know, you can invest a ton of money in this shit and really don't see no real results. But I know if I get $1 million, or if I get $10,000 and go invest this shit in some weed, go invest this shit into some motherfucking coke, bitch, I know what the streets do with it. You see what I'm saying? So that shit was a real struggle for me, you know what I'm saying? Like making that transition knowing damn well it's a possibility I can't make the type of money I made in the streets, you see what I'm saying? Through music.
Now, when you use an analogy such as, I can't remember if you said crack or crack addict or junkie or I don't know, but you mentioned something of that nature.
Yeah.
Were you addicted to the streets at one point? Were you addicted to the street life? Were you addicted to the fast money?
I was addicted to all of them. I was addicted to the streets, the fast money, and the street life. You know what I'm saying? Because the fast money come with the street life. And the street life, obviously you gotta be in the streets to live the street life. So it's like, it ain't one without the other. Because in the street, shit really be popping, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why you see a lot of rappers nowadays, you say, damn, bro, you got all this money, but you still in the hood. It's like the lifestyle is addictive. And it's hard to just do away with that shit, man. Once you've been living it for so long, it becomes a part of who you are. That's why they be like, you know, you can take the nigga up out the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto up out the nigga. So no matter where you go, you're gonna always find that type of lifestyle to integrate with, to mingle with. You see what I'm saying? And that's how it was for me. But nowadays, I'm kind of like, you know, every time I went back to Macon, I couldn't help but go to my hood. I ain't give a fuck if I had just bought a new Benz and I wanted to show the niggas in my hood, nigga. I need to get the approval from my hood first. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how we move. Like, we do this shit we put on for the hood. everything I did growing up, I did it for the hood. I put on for the hood. That shit became a part of who I am, a part of who I was. You know what I'm saying? It's still to a certain degree a part of who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like I just did a turkey drive in my city 2 days before Thanksgiving. And shit, you know, I couldn't go to the city without going back to the hood. And that's a real deal, that's a real motherfucking flaw that we have coming from the street, because that be the same shit that get us killed. We can't motherfucking, you know, go somewhere without involving the hood, without just leaving the street business alone. And that's a lot of problems that, you know, that's a lot of problems that we have with having that mentality, you feel me? So to eradicate that mentality, you have to go through some shit like like exorcism or some shit, you know what I'm saying? To just completely eradicate that mentality, because it's in us. Even now, you know what I'm saying? Like, we in the hood every day. Pakistan, that's our hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, we there every day. The shit be jumping. Cars everywhere, you know what I'm saying? Bitches coming through, like, you know, this what in the back we got the masjid where we pray at. In the front, you know what I'm saying? It's a motherfucking block party every day. So, you know, no matter how much money we get, we still on some hood shit.
Now, you mentioned the phrase cold turkey, and I brought up the phrase addiction because sometimes that goes hand in hand. When someone quits an addiction, one method is cold turkey. For others, it could be weaning off slowly over time, and there could be other methods aside from that. But because you mentioned the phrase cold turkey, for you, when you go cold turkey, were you one of one? Were you one for one doing that? Or was there a time when you did go cold turkey, but then you relapse, if we're going to use that phrase in the same analogy, and then you go back to what you were doing, and then you catch yourself and say, no, I got to go cold turkey again, for real, and then maybe you relapse again? Or did you really go cold turkey and never look back?
I mean, cold turkey for me means cold turkey. You know, it's over with today. Like, if I was smoking weed, I say, you know what, man, it's my last day smoking weed. Fuck it, I throw the blunt out. I don't even smoke the whole blunt. I throw the blunt out the window, it's over with. I ain't smoking no more. You know what I'm saying? I ain't looking back. Now, for others, you know, they might try to go cold turkey, but a month later or 2 weeks down the road, they end up relapsing or backtracking. But for me, the times of my life that I went cold turkey, I ain't look back.
So your first attempt transitioning from the streets to something legitimate like music, when you go cold turkey, your first attempt, you really did that. You didn't relapse.
Nah, hell no. I relapsed on the street. I had to. My paper got low, shit. I had to go get it the best way I knew how to get it. I was in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So I never went cold turkey on the streets. You know what I'm saying? It was a process for me. It was a real deal process, you know what I'm saying? If I sit here and tell you I went cold turkey on the street, I'll be telling a motherfucking lie. You know what I'm saying? Because that ain't how it went down for me. I caught myself, stopped doing this at one point. Shit, I went right back. You know, when my paper got low, shit, I had to go back. I invested into this, shit got fucked up, shit, only how I built this shit back up, I had to get me a motherfucking other, you know what I'm saying? I went back, you know what I'm saying? So after a while though, I had, you know, built up enough resources and enough confidence and knowledge to where I realized I didn't have to go back. You know, I set up a situation where legitimate income started coming in from different avenues. And so I didn't need the streets no more. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I wasn't making as much money that I used to make in the streets when I was trapping, but it was sufficient enough for me to live, sustain my lifestyle, and, you know, have a little extra money and be out of harm's way. You feel me? So I was able to make that transition in that order.
Now, what do you say to those out there that are in a similar position, watching or listening to this interview? They're in the streets right now. but they don't want to be?
I mean,
What do you say to that person thinking about crossing the other side? They'd love to do it the cold turkey route. Of course, circumstances could be different for everybody, but generally speaking here, is there something you can say in regards to that? And if not, that's understandable as well.
I think what I would say is that it ain't no such thing as that there's no other way. Like a nigga tell you, man, that's all I know. That's all I know. Nah, you know other shit. You know what I'm saying? That's just what you comfortable with. So the thing about it is that you can't get so comfortable doing wrong, because eventually you gonna have to suffer the consequences of that shit you doing. So don't get comfortable in the dope hole. Don't get comfortable trapping, because at some point that trapping shit gonna come to a halt. It gonna be over with. Then what you gonna do? So what you gotta do, you gotta learn other trades and skills. You know what I'm saying? You gotta learn how to motherfucking generate just as much money as you generating in the trap, or more money than you generating in the trap, by doing something else that's legitimate. So I would tell a motherfucker like this, man, you know what I'm saying, nigga, it's a million things you could be doing. Nigga, you just gotta get off your ass and look, do your research, and want to do better for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Nigga ain't gotta be trapping, nigga ain't gotta sell dope no more. I see niggas every day making way more money than I made in the drug game, doing a lot of legitimate shit. You see what I'm saying? Niggas flipping houses, niggas motherfucking promoting clubs, shows, niggas getting restaurants and clubs. These motherfuckers making millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Legitimate money. Only thing they gotta worry about is keeping the motherfucker from coming in their establishment with a gun, doing some stupid shit, or not filing their taxes properly. Otherwise, you know, that's the best type of money in the world, when you ain't gotta look over your shoulder. You ain't gotta worry about, it's the feds gonna come get me next month. Or damn, did I just serve this to a motherfucking federal agent? You know what I'm saying? Because I had a problem with that. Like, I used to go to sleep having motherfucking nightmares, man. Like, damn, I hope that brick I sold that nigga, man, I hope that nigga ain't the feds, or I hope that nigga ain't get knocked off, you know, last week or a year ago, and then tell nobody, but now he working for the feds, and this nigga motherfucking building the case up on me, trying to get me motherfucking set up to get his time knocked off. You know what I'm saying? So that's the shit a nigga have to look out for in the street game. These niggas be out here working. You don't even know. Niggas been and got knocked off with some motherfucking dope, and the feds let them right back out. You don't even know they didn't got hit. They come to you the next day, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Gold, man, I need 2 bricks. And here you go, you serve this nigga 2 bricks. You don't even know this nigga motherfucking federal informant now. He building the case up against you. At the end of the year, they come pick you up. Shit, you done sold this nigga motherfucking 32 bricks. Bitch, you got life, now you facing life in prison. You see what I'm saying? So who the fuck wanna live that type of life, have to look over their shoulder every day? You know what I'm saying? Can't sleep good at night because the feds might come get you and take every motherfucking thing you got. So it's like niggas in the street, they be hustling up all this shit. They buy a car, they buy a house, but really, it's like they just buying this shit as a loaner, because the police come right and take every goddamn thing you work hard for. So it's kind of like you hustling in vain. You see what I'm saying? A lot of niggas ain't gonna be like Big Meech. You know, was fortunate enough to have such a great story and big ass name to where somebody like 50 Cent wanna come, you know, put his son through motherfucking acting school, where, you know, he can turn the family business into a legitimate business now. Everybody ain't gonna have that opportunity to get out and rebuild it and do it all over again. You see what I'm saying? Some niggas, when they get their shit took, and they gonna sit in that bitch for the rest of their life. I was in prison with niggas, man, ain't never getting out of prison. You know, wishing they motherfucking had an opportunity to tell on a bitch, you know what I'm saying? Straight up.
Now, for those in the audience, getting to know you for the very first time, can you share some of those details of how much time you did, whether it was federal or state, where you were stationed at, in a quick synopsis?
I did a whole lot of time, man. You know what I'm saying? I left when I was real young. I got sentenced to 35 years. And I got sentenced to 35 years when I was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? I was already a millionaire though before I went to prison. And I was heavy in the streets, you know what I'm saying? I was hustling like a motherfucker, you know, doing all kind of extracurricular shit, hitting licks. So I had accumulated a couple million before I even got picked up and went and got put in prison. You know what I'm saying? So I served 17 years in the pen. And I did most of all my time in Florida though. So it was a hell of an experience, man. It was a hell of a journey. But I made it through that bitch though, you know? Without a scar on my face. Without a stain on my name. You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful for that. I give Allah all the glory for, you know, going through such a extraordinarily traumatizing, you know, situation and still making it out with a sound mind and without, you know, picking up real bad habits and shit. Like a lot of motherfuckers don't even know I've been in prison that long. Can't even tell by how I conduct myself. You know what I'm saying? So that's a blessing in itself. I know niggas that did 5 years, they get out, they goddamn waking up at 5 in the morning, cooking motherfucking ramen noodles and shit. You know what I'm saying? And just wake up in the morning, first thing they do is hit the floor and do push-ups. So for me to serve 17 years in the penitentiary and my niggas around me wouldn't even know I did that time. And only how they know I did that time is because they know me. You see what I'm saying?
What age were you when you entered that system and when you exited?
When I first entered that system, I was real young, man. I was a teenager, like 15 going on 7, you know, 15, 17, shit like that. And I did 17 years, so shit, you do the math. You feel me?
Well, you mentioned 2 different ages here, 15 and 17.
Yeah, I caught crimes. Well, when I was 15, I was accused of a double homicide. You know what I'm saying? So I went to Youth Development Center, YDC, youth prison, you know what I'm saying, for some other charges related to that because, you know, they didn't have sufficient evidence in that situation. Nevertheless, we ain't gonna talk about that one. We're gonna keep it moving. But yeah, so I ended up going to prison. I went to prison, caught 35 years in Florida. And eventually I worked in the law library. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was rich when I fell though. But I left money with a lot of people in my family, you know what I'm saying? Some girls I was fucking with, some bitches, they ran off with the money. Niggas in my family fucked up the bag. So I end up in prison without a lawyer. So I had to fight appeals. And when I first got in the prison cell, they put me in a cell with an older brother. He was an OG. He had already, I never forget his name was Victor. Vic had already served about 15 years. He was getting ready to go home. He was like, Jit, you know what I'm saying? You here now? Chasing wham-whams and zoom-zooms and, you know, being on the basketball court on the rec yard all day. That shit ain't gonna get you out of prison. He like, young nigga, you got 35 years. So what you need to do, you need to motherfucking put your head in these law books. If you wanna get out this shit, you better learn the law, learn how to apply the law, cause you ain't got no motherfucking money to get out. So what you gonna do? So I said, shit. He showed me a law book. It was a Black Laws Dictionary. He said, you start right here with this Black Laws Dictionary. This is the motherfucking language of the law. Just like you got the language out there in the street, just like y'all talk that slang, this is the motherfucking law slang. This the slang the courtroom talk. So you need to get this motherfucking dictionary and learn every motherfucking word in this Black Law Dictionary. So that's what I started doing. I started learning all the words in the dictionary. And he slapped the case law before me. He said, this case right here was decided by the United States Supreme Court. You need to learn how to read these motherfucking cases, apply the words that you learned from that Black Laws Dictionary, and learn how to motherfucking understand and comprehend this law, and learn how to write your own petitions and motions up. And that's the best advice a motherfucker gave me when I came to that chain gang. I used that advice and I used him as inspiration. And I seen Vic walking out that gate. I was on the first 35 years. I was only in the cell with Vic for 2 weeks. On the second week, I seen Vic walking out that motherfucking gate with his brown paper bag in his hand, with his white t-shirt on, waving. He was like, I'm gone, Jit. I fought my way up out that bitch, now it's your turn. I had no choice, man. I buried myself into that law. I learned the lingo. I learned the diction of the law. And shit, I started motherfucking litigating my own motions, man. I couldn't afford no attorney. So shit, I became a motherfucking paralegal in the penitentiary. Got myself up out that motherfucker with the help of Allah, you know?
And this was federal prison?
Nah, it was state.
State prison.
Yeah.
And care to share where you were stationed at during that time?
I was at Florida State Penitentiary, home of death row. I fed, you know what I'm saying? Like, actually, I was on what they call CM, which is closed management, you know what I'm saying? I had gotten into a lot of shit, so I used to have to feed the inmates on death row. That was a part of my detail, you know what I'm saying? So I had became close with a lot of inmates on death row. Cause you know, I had to feed them their food. I had to serve them their food, you know, pour them their juices and shit. And one of the things that really bothered me is that I had got close to a death row inmate. His name was Henry Lee. He had been on death row for like 32 years. And one day he came, he said, hey, Jit, come here, Gold, come here. So I ran down the ranks, because you know, we don't supposed to go down on the tiers unless it's a correctional officer there watching us. So I ran down there on the ranks, man. He said, man, the governor just signed my death warrant. He said, after the 4th, I might not see you no more. I said, man, they ain't gonna do nothing but motherfucking postpone that shit, give you a continuance. He said, nah, man, I think I done had all the continuances I'm gonna get. So he said, get all this stuff from me. He gave me a bunch of books. He gave me a lot of his property. You know what I'm saying? And shit, I seen when they came and got, when they came and got Mr. Herring, and they walked him down the tier. They took him to the psychological evaluation rooms, trying to see, was he mentally prepared to get executed? And shit, when the 4th came, they shut the prison down. I seen people out the window with their picket signs, you know, protesting against the death penalty. And I seen the hearse when they pulled off, man. And that was Mr. Herring, man. They killed him. They executed him. That shit broke my heart. So being in prison like that, you know what I'm saying, you have to learn not to get close to people. You have to learn to detach yourself from people. You know what I'm saying? That goes for even the outside, shit out here on the outside, man. And I said one day, man, when I got out of prison, man, I was gonna motherfucking rap again, and I was gonna tell my story. And this is a part of that journey right here, you know?
Now, understanding that law dictionary and those terms and writing your own petitions and becoming a paralegal as you described and things of that nature, would you say that was your key to survival? And if not, what was during that entire time in state prison for you?
I think my key to survival was really not giving a fuck. You know what I'm saying? That just educated me legally. You know, I learned my constitution rights. You know what I'm saying? I learned the whole 14th Amendment by heart. You know, that made me more dangerous. Like when it came to, you know, if I got to kill a nigga in here, I know my motherfucking rights. I can beat the case. You know, if a nigga moving wrong. But I think what helped me survive was my mentality. You know, I had a real killer instinct. You know, shit, I wasn't there. I wasn't finna take no shit from nobody. Like anybody that tell you in the penitentiary who locked up with gold, they gonna tell you the homie Smile, he was a great guy. I mean, he was a real manable person, but the motherfucker was a real deal killer. Don't play with him. And that's how I survived the penitentiary. Niggas knew what it was. If I went to this camp, they were like, oh yeah, go here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't play with Jit. Like, Jit ain't nobody to play with. Like, he gonna respect you. He gonna motherfucking do everything he supposed to do. But don't play with him, cause you know what I'm saying? You gonna step on some shit. And that's how it was for me, so that would help me survive. And I say another thing too though, Islam helped me survive too, you know what I'm saying? Cause when I got in there, you know, I was born a Muslim. So I was already practicing Islam before I went to prison. But when I got in prison, you know, everything amplified by 10. So, you know, I started deening, you know what I'm saying, practicing Islam, trying to do it the right way. And that helped me stay out a lot of shit too, you know what I'm saying?
Now, when it comes to Islam, does it get any more specific under that religion for you, like a particular denomination, for example?
Particular denomination on Islam is
Yeah, such as Sunni Islam
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Shia Islam, for example.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? All of those are our brothers, you know. Nevertheless, I follow the sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's the sunnah of Islam, you know, the ways of the Prophet. So that's basically what we follow, you know what I'm saying?
And why that for you in particular?
Because it's the right way. It's the right way. It's the right way to practice Islam. It's what Allah and His Prophet ordained for us to do. And so we practice in a way in which the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the Sahabas, his companions, practiced the Islam.
And just for some further context, was that how you were raised? Or
Yeah.
was that something you chose on your own, that particular denomination?
Yeah, my dad actually and my mama, when they was married, they was both practicing Muslims. So I was born into Islam. That's where I get my name from. My real name is Amir. So I was born into the Islam, you know what I'm saying? It was instilled within me. But of course, poverty and other things make you deviate. You know what I'm saying? The streets make you deviate. So I was out here living like a motherfucking non-believer, you know, before I went to prison, because I was chasing the fast money, the women, the cars, you know, this everything in this world, you know what I'm saying? So the Islam got put on the back burner. But once you get placed in those incarceration situations, you know what I'm saying, you have to get more in tune with self, more in tune with your religion, more in tune with your creator. And that's a part of my journey, you know what I'm saying? When I went to prison, I got more in tune with Islam, learning the surahs, learning how to be a better practicing Muslim, you feel me?
And not trying to put any words in your mouth here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost as if
I will.
it's almost as if you doing this time was almost like a timeout, maybe to concentrate on that.
Yeah, I mean, this shit might sound crazy, man, but I was listening to my nigga Charleston White, right? I went to his comedy show the other day, and he was saying how necessary. He was saying how necessary motherfucking jailhouses and prisons are for young niggas growing up in the streets. Cause it's like, motherfuckers be hard-headed as fuck, man. Nobody don't want to listen to nobody. Everybody out here stuck on stupid doing dumb shit. But when you fall, when your ass wind up behind them bars for real, for a long period of time, it make you come to your senses. You know what I'm saying? Either nigga, that's when you really learn that nigga, I ain't so bad after all. I ain't as bad as I thought I was. So penitentiaries, although it's fucked up, you know, I don't want to say it, but it's the truth. They have become like the motherfucking parents in the household for a lot of niggas. Cause niggas don't believe, they mama can't tell them shit on the street. They daddies more likely ain't in their life. And if they is, they don't give a fuck. They don't respect their daddies because they daddies can't motherfucking buy them the latest goddamn Louis Gucci or whatever. So they don't really respect a motherfucker who ain't in position, who ain't in power for real. So it ain't no respect in the households out here. So the only time these young niggas get chastised for real is when they ass get behind them walls. And so, that's just how fucked up it is, but that's just how the culture is. You know what I'm saying? Niggas run up in your house, shoot you, pull out guns and all this shit. But when you see these niggas doing that shit, it be the motherfuckers that never really been behind them walls for real for the most part. They act like they ain't got nothing to lose. But when they ass get back there behind the walls and them people, them motherfucking white folks say, nigga, you got 20 plus motherfucking, another 30 over here running consecutively, running wild, not together. And then everything just dawn on them. Oh my God, I'm fucked up. I'm finna be an old ass man getting out this bitch. They get their mind right. Some of them, make it out on appeal. Some niggas die in that motherfucker. But a lot of us have to go through those experiences to recognize, to realize how precious life is. You know what I'm saying? You have to bump your head in the worst way before you realize that, damn, what the fuck am I here robbing these folks for their hard-earned money for? These people work hard for their shit. What make me exempt? I need to work hard for my shit. That's when, those things go to circulating in your mind when you become more conscious. Otherwise, you're gonna be out here seeing motherfucking gold, seeing this other nigga work hard all day in a hot ass sun or in the cold ass weather. And soon as the man cut him a paycheck, here come a nigga bop you upside the motherfucking head and take your shit. You don't know that's wrong until you get put in them fucked up predicament. That's when you learn it's wrong.
Now, sidestepping the conversation here.
Yeah.
What is your opinion? And of course, circumstances could be different for everyone. But from your vantage point, what is your opinion when you see someone come into the prison system 2 or 3 different times for 2 or 3 different bids? They go to prison for maybe a year or 2. They get out, back into the free world. End up getting back for another 2 or 3 years. End up being in the free world, free society, but end up coming back again to the prison system for a 3rd time. This is just an example.
That's called recidivism. And you know what I'm saying? When you going back, you know what I'm saying, in the chain gang. Most of those people be like drug addicts though. You see what I'm saying? They go in for some petty ass felonies and they get back out. You know what I'm saying? They go back. Shit like that. You feel me? I think them some stupid motherfuckers are some people that's really addicted and really need help. And unfortunately, a lot of those people don't learn. They have to get sentenced to 30 years to life and die in prison because it ain't no way in the hell you gonna tell me you like freedom, you like pussy. And every time you turn around, you in and out of jail. You can't love freedom. You can't appreciate the pleasure of pussy. You can't. Cause ain't no in the hell you gonna like to do what you wanna do. Cause I used to hate when them people tell me shower time, lights out, everybody in the bed. What? Man, it's 10 motherfucking o'clock. And you talking about lights out? The day just started. I used to hate that shit. So if anybody want to be so tough and so gangster that they feel like that's okay to get told lights out, today is motherfucking hot dog day. You can't even eat what the fuck you want to eat. If the chow hall feed hot dog, bitch, you got to eat a hot dog. Unless you're going to go to the canteen, go to the store and get you a ramen noodle soup, chop up some sausage and put some cheese squeeze in this motherfucker. Come, who want to eat that? Who want to live like that for the rest of their life? So it got to be a stupid motherfucker that continuously go in and out of prison. It mean that they ain't wired right. Something psychologically is fucked up with that individual. And maybe it's not prison that they need. Maybe it's a motherfucking psych ward,
Okay, finishing up the conversation here just about religion. And just for clarification here, this mother and father of yours, did they raise you under the Shia denomination, or was the Shia denomination picked up when you do enter the prison system?
No, I'm not Shia. I'm a part of the Sunnah.
Oh, so, excuse me. I apologize about that.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. Sorry. Was that from the raising of your mother and father? Was it their denomination?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, my last question here about the prison system. Now, circumstances could be different for everyone. But there may be someone in the audience right now, watching or listening to this interview, that may be going in themselves. Can you give that person or any of those individuals 5 tips on how to survive in state prison?
Nigga, don't drop the soap. Nah, man. You know, mainly, man, I can repeat this shit 5 times. Mind your motherfucking business, mind your business, mind your business, mind your motherfucking business, and mind your business, man. That's it. If you mind your business in the penitentiary, you won't have a lot of problems. You know what I'm saying? You won't have to worry about getting involved in other people's affairs and shit. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I did for the most part. I mind my business. I didn't be all into other people's shit. You know what I'm saying? And I only addressed problems when they came my way. But whenever a problem come your way, you gotta nip that shit in the butt. Cause if you let a motherfucker push you one time, they gonna push you again and again. Before you know it, you're gonna be pushed in the corner. So whenever I had an issue, I put it all on the line. I just made sure I went ahead and nipped that shit right there. You see what I'm saying? I didn't gamble. I didn't borrow shit from niggas. And I ain't fuck no punks. Excuse me. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't involved myself in the homosexuality. You see what I'm saying? So I was good with that. I didn't gamble. I didn't borrow shit from niggas. I ain't partake in homosexuality. I mind my own business. You know what I'm saying? And I study to show myself approval. That's it.
Anything else on the topic of the state prison system?
Hell no. Fuck prison, man. Hell no.